20 things that you should have done 20 years ago. Part two. Because we only made it through like 11 or so, I think, on the first episode. Which I got a lot of feedback from.
Did it?
Yeah, a lot of feedback from that. It was really good. Which makes the list grow a little longer because I'm like, oh yeah, I got to put that one on there too. So
the 29 things you should have done 20
the 45 things that you should have done 20 years ago.
Yeah,
all right. So just so everybody knows, you think about 20 years. I was just talking to our producer. He's 19.
Oh.
He was born in 2005.
Oh. What?
It hits different, right?
It does.
Like, you're a 19-year-old. Oh, that's cool. That's nice. I was born in 2005. Oh.
Wait a second.
Oh, hey.
All the 19-year-olds I know were born in like the 80s
That's
and 90s.
That's what I was doing. I did the same thing, didn't I, Bank? I was like, oh, you're born in like 93, 95. No, 2005. I was like, no, that's not possible. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was 2005.
For real.
And so I was just going down memory lane a little bit to give myself like, what was going on in 2005?
Yeah, 20 years ago.
20 years ago, because we don't think how fast this thing moves, right?
That's after 9/11.
Right after 9/11. So George Bush is in office. That's Gabe's favorite president, right? Remember the Terry Schiavo case or situation?
Oh, yeah, in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah,
Why am I not hearing you?
The lady that,
there we go.
you want me to talk into my mic a little more?
That could help.
The lady that was on life support.
That's right.
And like a feeding tube.
Yep.
And
her family.
And her husband was like pleading.
Yep.
I can't remember all the details, but they let her die.
They actually took the tube out.
And
she lived for a moment and then passed away. But that was a huge case. Rocked the nation. 2005. Wow. How about this one? Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, Hurricane Katrina.
Feels like 3 years ago.
That was like a couple years ago.
It doesn't feel that long ago.
A couple years ago.
Like that. And what's crazy, that's when we knew Kanye was a little off.
Is it?
Yeah, because he said George W. Bush doesn't like black people. Remember that whole
No.
You guys, really?
No.
There was a whole thing where all the stars came together to get behind the people who were hurt by Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, right?
Okay.
Louisiana. So they were there and you had, I can't remember the guy's name that he was with, but there's a video, go look it up. He says, out of nowhere, like Kanye starts going off script.
Oh.
There are all these stars that they're raising money.
He's there?
And all these stars are in this huge campaign, like Help Jerry's Kids kind of campaign. Yeah. And out of nowhere, he just says, George W. Bush does not like black people. And the guy who was with them is like, what did he just say?
Where's that on the script?
Yeah. So the housing economy bubble hadn't quite busted yet.
That's
right? It's
2008. That's 2008. That's coming.
So then gas prices were just rising to $3. Just rising to $3. Yeah.
$3. Oh,
so
wow.
In the technology world, you had YouTube. They were just launching in February of 2005.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? It's only been 20 years.
20 years since YouTube. Facebook was out, but they were only on college campuses at the time. 20 years. Just think about how radical our world has changed in just that 20 years.
That's wild. Yeah, because you know what? So I was in seminary 2006, 2008 in South Carolina. And I think I got Facebook in 2006, 2007, somewhere in there.
Yep. I did too. 2007. Or Twitter for me.
I remembered. I got Facebook first, and that was I was in South Carolina though when I got it. So that makes sense. Like that was a couple years later.
You're marking that time by when you got Facebook.
I was like in a place. I can remember like the bedroom, the office I was in.
I guess I'll sign up and make an account.
Yeah. I know. Right.
Choose what picture I want. So then iPods were just coming out with the video screen.
Okay.
I want to add to this. There were no iPhones.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Actually, no. Because I didn't have, when we moved to South Carolina, I didn't have a cell phone yet.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
No iPhones.
Yeah. We got our first flip phones in South Carolina.
Oh, this is going to get crazier. So Xbox has just debuted their little machine, all you gamers out there who love Xbox.
First Xbox?
First Xbox, I believe, is in
2005.
2005.
Wow.
In pop culture, the movie at the time was Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Batman Begins. I can't believe that was 20 years ago.
Wow, Batman.
Doggone it.
Oh, man.
King Kong, The Chronicles of Narnia were a big box office hit at the time. On TV, Lost was the...
Oh. Yeah.
I'm old. Desperate Housewives, they could have kept that one. Grey's Anatomy, they could have kept that one too. Music, Green Day's American Idiot was still reigning number one. Kanye West, Mariah Carey at the top of the charts, and a whole lot of other things that were going on. Oh, politically, red state versus blue state started to become a thing 20 years ago.
Really, that was like
that was
really
starting,
getting intense.
That was just kicking up. And so I was thinking, as I was going through this list, I was thinking, okay, The world is quite different now, and it's going to be even more different in the next 20 years.
Another 20 years.
But having the understanding of what came before, 20 years before, it made me think about, what if I could have gathered $5,000 to myself? What would I have invested it in, and where would it be at if I had invested it in, I don't know, companies like Apple?
Don't you want to be happy?
I did, but I also want to be happier in the future.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about this. It's like, if I would have invested $5,000 into Apple 20 years ago.
Man, if you had invested $100 in Apple,
$750,000. That's where it'd be at right now.
5,000?
5,000
would be 750,000.
Yes. If I lost $5,000 in Apple, like if I just threw some money, I forgot all about that. Mr. Shannon, you have a check for $750,000. Would you like to cash it?
Almost a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to see what? I'll save Tesla. Let's go back to that. Amazon.
Yeah.
$660,000.
If you'd put 5,000 in?
Just $5,000 20 years ago when Bush was president and YouTube just came out. Speaking of YouTube, let's just go to Google. Google. $5,000 would have me at $127,000 or $128,000 right now.
All right, yeah.
Facebook, $90,000. I mean, that's not, it's like, $90,000 over 5 years. That's with $5,000 though. What could you do with $80,000 if you could pull that right now? And could you use that?
Right.
So we said Google. Netflix. Oh, if you invested $5,000.
You know Netflix started with those discs.
Yeah, I know.
You remember that?
Mail.
In the mail.
Yes.
DVDs.
Not live streaming.
Do you young people know what
you
DVDs
guys
are?
They have no idea what a DVD.
Redbox? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was born in 2005, so I guess he's seen a few of those.
We used to send away
Redbox
for discs.
Online, you could pick it.
Yeah.
Online.
And then they'd send it to you a couple days later, and you could watch it for a couple days, and then you could send it back in. That's how Netflix started.
Do you know that Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix and didn't? They actually had a business meeting together to buy Netflix and didn't.
You guys know what Blockbuster was?
So if you feel bad about the last 20 years, imagine how Blockbuster must feel. Yeah. Netflix, $2.8 million if you invested $5,000.
In 2005.
That one hurt.
Wait, how much? Say it again.
2.8 million?
Oh my gracious. Wow.
NVIDIA. Now you remember NVIDIA? Like they were doing all the gaming chips and the graphics cards.
No, I don't know about
If you're a gamer, you know who NVIDIA is. Right. They're the ones right now that are doing all of the, Elon Musk built out his new AI learning center with all these new NVIDIA chips that they have.
Okay.
You would have $3.3 million if you invested $5,000 into NVIDIA 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah.
Let's just move to Tesla now, I guess. Now I'm done with it. Tesla, $1 million.
Yeah, straight up.
You would have
5,000. So Tesla was a thing in 2005? Tesla was a thing? 20
years ago.
In 2005.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, I was going to look at PayPal within the last 20 years. Yeah. So I was just looking at those.
Okay.
And so, with all that said.
Yeah, so it matters. 20 years matters.
20 years can change a full generation of your family.
Right.
Based off of how you think about it.
Yeah.
And so that's why this list matters to me. That's why what we're talking about matters.
So you're kind of like a glass is half empty kind of guy. And I'm a glass is half full.
Uh-huh. Sure. So somehow we get to a full glass between the two of us.
I'm just thinking about all the things I did.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Like I could have done so much more.
Well,
but I'm also thinking like, you know what I did in 20 years? I made 4 people.
Yep. You're getting to the end of the show before we get there.
And one of them's married now.
Yes. You created a whole nother government.
So I've got a daughter-in-law now.
Yep.
Which is crazy because I didn't raise her, but now she's like part of my family.
You got an extra kid.
Yeah. So I've got another family that's already now been created. I've got we built a house.
Yep.
Like a literal house.
Yep.
We bought land.
Yep.
Bought a house, sold a house, built a house, bought land. All this, hospitality, this culture, so many dinners together.
Yep.
So many Sabbaths.
Relationships. I just want you to know that y'all could have been better. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I feel like. I know. I feel like you're saying that. Like,
but you know what? I'm not saying this so that we have regret.
I know.
The point of this.
I know. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm playing, but I also think we got to hold those things together.
Well,
hold those things together. So like, if you only think about what could have been, you could get kind of negative and bitter.
Yeah.
But notice all the investments you did make and how much they're worth now.
Yes.
Maybe you didn't do anything with the stock market like me, or very little, and it's but people, relationships, marriage, house, church, schools. I accidentally started one school, started another school, involved in another school, involved in another. I mean, there's 4 different schools, 5 schools maybe I've been involved in.
Yeah, you don't even know what the value of that's calculated to be, right?
1, 2, 3, 4 different churches. Preached hundreds of sermons, baptized, marriages. Probably, I think I've maybe done 100 marriages now.
I've got one. I didn't do. I mean, I was a part of one marriage.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I can't do more than that. I don't have.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to do another one tomorrow.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And anyways, I'm just saying, like, that's part of it. So it's like, yeah, what could you have done better? How could you turn more of a profit? We want to take that parable of the talents.
Yes.
And then at the same time, let the last 20 years also be a testimony to you of what God is constantly doing.
Yes.
So invest today. Build today.
That's where I'm trying to get to.
Okay, all right.
Because I want to talk to 2 people. I want to talk to the young guys who were maybe born in 2005.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage them.
That filter or whatever you guys are doing with, like, there's videos that, like, where they make them babies.
Yes.
Like the Tucker and the Ted Cruz one you sent me. And like, I almost wrote back and was like, Knox, some of us have work to do. but it's like everybody's like that.
Yes, that's right.
We're all like babies.
And then the other group, because one of the things that the younger men are facing is that they don't see the path forward. And they feel like that everything has been taken from them. But we felt like that 20 years ago too, and we were struggling and we didn't see the opportunities that were clearly right in front of us. Right. And that's what I was thinking about. $5,000. If I had to beg, borrow, and steal to get $5,000, don't steal, but I could have put together $5,000 if I had to and say, okay, I'm gonna steal
it from your Starbucks
over the next 10 years, figure out how to pay
all your coffees.
Find 5 rich guys and say, listen, man, I need $5,000. I'm gonna figure out how to pay you this back over the next 5 years. I promise. Okay, if you have to, and do that. But if you would have done that, even thinking that way. What it would have given you in 20 years, you could have paid them back each $2,000.
Or how much time did you spend watching stupid stuff on Netflix?
Yes. Or think about the money you're wasting and you're not thinking about how to use it productively. Yeah. And so I'm thinking about the young guys that say you can be very productive here. That'll be of value to you at 40. And then you're going to look back over those 20 years and say, I could have done so much more. I could have done so much more. But when you hit 40 or in your 40s, like right now, I want to talk to the guys that are there and say, listen, you know a lot of stuff. Because of the history that you've lived already over the last 20 years. Take account of that. Like Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians 10, so that you don't do you need to do the things that you need to do.
You got another 20 years ahead of you, Lord willing.
Right. So I just wanted to recap real quick. If you didn't listen to the last show, we went through these things. Go catch it. I'm gonna go through this really quick.
But we're at number 11?
We're at number 11.
Okay.
But number 1 was pay somebody to work for them, right?
To learn from.
You need to learn stuff.
Okay.
Get married
is
number 2. Create financial freedom for yourself is number 3.
Buy a lot of houses, apparently.
Yeah, that's right. Buy and create businesses that buy more businesses.
That's 4.
Number 5 is you were built for this. You made me think of that one on the spot.
You were made to try hard things, do hard things, carry more weight than you think you can. You should be busier than you think you should be.
Number 6 is find your people and commit to them for the next 30 to 40 years.
Yeah.
Pastor says 40 is a generation, go for 40.
Think generationally, find a church.
Yes.
Plant yourself in that community and build for the long haul.
Number 7 is pivot fast, don't do what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Number 8, master multiple skills and create range for yourself.
Range.
It's really good. Go get that book, Range. It's a good book. Learn the value of time. You got more than 24 hours in a day when you buy other people's time. We talked about that. Number 10, deal with the insecurities of father hunger and mortify it for the future.
Yeah.
Right? That was really good too. Number 11.
Here we go.
Find where you can be political. Find where you can be a political force for your community and engage in local politics. When you start accumulating finances and wealth and building businesses, one of the things that God has called you to do ever since the garden is to build guard and protect. One of the ways you protect your investments is being able to have a say-so in how the economy works around them.
Right.
Local politics is where it's at. Right. That is a hedge of protection for you and the people you employ and the community at large.
Right.
And so if the people are blessed when the righteous rule, then guess what? Yeah. Go be a righteous man in rule.
Right.
And this is the problem when you have lots of work around you. You have the tendency to be, remember the Bramble Bush story? David Reese talks about this. This is really good. Where you have the wine tree
from
Judges.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
You have all the trees there that produce wonderful, beautiful things, but they're also busy doing their building and working that they can't rule.
Yeah.
And so the Bramble Bush comes across.
He's like, I'll do it.
I'll rule, but everybody has to be underneath my shade.
Yeah.
And what he ends up doing is crippling all their productivity.
Right.
And stealing it because they will not rule. Yeah. Do not be the Bramble Bush. It actually should be number 10.
Or 11. Or don't let the Bramble Bush rule.
Yeah.
I mean, like, don't let, because that's the point is, if Christians don't rule, then non-Christians will. This is a very, very simple syllogism, right? Like, someone's going to rule, so Christians ought to rule.
Yes.
And if you don't, someone else will. If it's a non-Christian ruling, then you're going to have a non-Christian trying to fill the office that's supposed to honor Christ. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, how's that going to go? Well, he's going to not honor Christ, and that's going to bring judgment on your land. You may not care about politics, but politics cares about you.
Yes.
Like,
bottom line.
And this is what COVID and 2020 taught us, right? Like, this is one of the
5 years ago.
That's hard to believe. I know. I was thinking about that too. But it's like, this is one of the great kindnesses of God. God said, like, I think he's sent a wake-up call to his church, and he says, you all need to care about this.
Yes.
You need to study my word, and you need to apply it to politics. You need to study my word, and you need to apply it to the public square. And so he's, it's like, so now you have county commissioners, you have city council, you have health districts, you have mayors, you have, all these things. Like, who's running those things? Who's doing those things? And again, if it's not Christians, it'll be non-Christians. And if it's non-Christians, it's not going to be for the blessing of your community.
One of the things that we do, thinking we're engaging with politics, is that we complain and whine a lot when we get rules put on us that we don't like. Yeah. But that's not doing politics.
Right.
That's just complaining about it. Doing politics is actually being engaged, being in leadership and taking responsibility there.
Everyone doesn't have to do everything, but he's saying find a place.
Yes.
Maybe it's community sports. Maybe it's parks and rec.
Yep.
Maybe it's
managing the library.
Yeah, library or streets and roads or maybe there's lots
county commissioner.
There's all these like committees that your city and your county has, and you can volunteer for one of those spots.
And just being a citizen that comes to the city council meetings and speaks or listens or is engaged there. That's really important.
Yeah. Take out your city council members, whatever.
Number 12, be bullish on tech.
Okay.
I'm going to get a lot of trouble for this one, but I'm just going to say it.
Okay.
Tech's not going anywhere.
No.
Technology and tech doesn't just mean digital. There's all sorts of different meanings for tech. Anything that helps, a tool that helps anybody's job become easier.
Cars.
Be bullish on it.
Yeah.
Take some risks there. When you have an understanding of the past, you start to see the kind of guys that think about tech and
What do you mean by bullish, though? Why don't you define what you mean by bullish?
You believe that this is going to have success in the future, and you're counting on it winning.
Okay.
And so what you're going to do is you're going to put your money behind that, and you're going, and you're saying, I'm going to calculate. Think about the guys who invested in Facebook. They had to know something about people and the way the future was moving with internet to know that commerce was going to be a huge part of the new world. And they say, who is operating really well in this category and who has the best opportunity? I'm going to put my money behind them, right? And so that's what I mean by it. Like, you believe that that's going to be successful, and so you get behind it. There's a lot of opportunities. Pick your top 5 AI companies right now. AI is not going anywhere. It's only going to get more and more crazy. We got self-driving cars, people. Yeah. Cars are driving themselves. Mm-hmm. What about the $5,000 you can invest in that? Like, pick and then diversify. Okay, I'm going to pick 5 AI companies. How do they relate into what I know about what God says about human beings and how they operate and where technology is going, what the government thinks that they need to get their hands in to try and manipulate? Like, that's all. You got so many different reads here. Just taking some moment to understand it and then saying, okay, I'm going to invest in these companies. Mm-hmm. And then let's see what happens and forget. what happens over the next 20 years? Like, you might have a nice little, payoff.
Yeah. Tome wins the toss, chooses to receive the Bible. Patterson back with the kick. Oh my goodness!
The American church is a mile wide and an inch deep. Bigger buildings, slicker productions. We've traded shepherds for CEOs and prophets for marketing experts.
How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business.
The result? Cultural surrender dressed as relevance.
Then if people get mad, they get mad at Curtis, Russell, and David.
While our cities burn with paganism, we're busy building better light shows. While Rome burns and we fiddle Led Zeppelin covers. Our fathers built hospitals and universities. They transformed nations. We can't even transform our neighborhoods. Want real change? Build strong parishes. Start classical Christian schools. Feast together. Worship together. Build communities that last. Support churches that train up generations of culture shapers. Where psalms are sung, scripture is preached, and Christ's kingdom advances. Join the Reformation.
Number 13, find the treasures that God has placed in your kids, polish them, and direct them. When God gives you a child, he's already designed a personality around them, what they're going to be good at. We need to cultivate that for our kids because those are our arrows. Mm-hmm. And if we want them to hit their targets, we need to cultivate the things that God has given them and say, son, you're good at this. Right. Let me help you with that. Or I talk about this all the time. Some of the parents that have put their kids in sports, it's funny how they recognize right away that government schools weren't going to be good for them.
They were not going to be able to excel
in what they needed to do.
Yeah.
And so what they did was have private tutors go with them in the areas that they needed to, what they were practicing was basketball, football, tennis hockey, whatever it was, golf. And say, I'm going to have the education come with you and help you along this other training that you're skilled at. Mm-hmm. And they become massive financial, wealthy people. Yeah. Right. And it's okay to take those things in your kids and see that and polish them and say, all right, we're shooting you over here and you be successful there.
I think this is one of the things that parents need to remember in general is that, and I know you're aiming at a particular thing. I want to just sort of zoom out a little bit and just say one of the most potent things that parents can do is encourage the good things they see.
Yes.
And it's ultimately aimed at the point you're making is they were made for those good things. And so invest in and subsidize and look for ways of organizing your life together in a way that maximizes those skills so they can be potent as they grow up. But I'm also just even thinking in terms of your relationship with your kids.
Yes.
It's so easy for parents to just see the problems. It's so easy just to see the ways in which they're immature, be annoyed, be frustrated, be embarrassed, be angry. And that creates a lot of tension. Mm. And then you wonder why a lot of kids, then you want to give suggestions on maybe the skills they should hone, mm-hmm. or the college they should go to, or the classes they should take, or the music lessons they should do, or whatever, or the sports they should, and they don't want to hear about it. Because if most of the time you're criticizing them, most of the time the conversations you're having are pretty like, here's the things you're doing wrong again, mm-hmm. and here's how you're not measuring up very well. Mm. You create, just naturally people want to kind of pull back.
Yeah.
But you should want to cultivate a relationship with your kids where most of what you're trying to pour into them is encouraging what you see that is good. Mm. Encourage what you see as good, subsidize it. There's the old saying, you get more of what you subsidize, less of what you penalize. Mm-hmm. Now, so both sides of that are true, but you really want to focus on the subsidizing the healthy stuff, the good stuff, praising the good stuff. Try to make time and energy and resources for those good things, and watch how God will bring you together. Like he will give you the heart of your kids, and then you're actually in a position to really launch them.
That's good. Number 14, watch out for the temptress.
Oh,
and
temptress.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not an accident that the women are connected to money. right? Especially in Proverbs. You see that a good queen blesses a man's kingdom and creates wealth there.
Well, we talked about this last time because we were
Yes.
talking about the potency of a wife.
Yes.
This queen.
Yep.
This wisdom. I mean, that maximizes your potential, your
Yes.
fruitfulness in the world. So a good woman brings wealth.
Yes. And a scantily dressed woman destroys a man and reduces him to a morsel of bread.
That's what Proverbs says.
And so,
Yeah.
and it's not just in the sexual reality of that,
Yeah.
but when you learn those things,
Yeah.
you know, when Adam got Eve, what he learned in discipling and leading, what he was supposed to learn discipling and leading him, gave him the ability to have dominion over the rest of creation and to exercise that as a tool, right? Well, when a temptress comes in and destroys a man and rips him of all his wealth, he learns something too, but it's too late. Right. But when you learn when you understand that and you have that reality, there is this other area in business where you start to see like, oh, this deal is too good to be true. The dress is too short on this deal.
Right.
It's a little too scantily dressed on this deal.
It's a business with too much cleavage.
What'd you say the other earlier?
It's a business deal in a bikini.
Yes.
Look the other way.
Those
Look
two
the
things
other
are
way.
connected. Absolutely.
Yes,
and yeah, you have to be able to identify that. And it's God has given us.
Yeah. This business deal is you're trying to be seduced. It's
Yes,
trying to
it's
seduce
trying to
you.
seduce you.
That's a temptress. I
And
see
when
what
you
you're saying.
see that in one area and you identify that and you say, I'm not going to do that, and you've
Right.
disciplined yourself.
Right.
And this happens with young men. When you see a woman that's scantily dressed, sir, just turn the other way. Don't look. Don't give your eyes. Don't give your attention.
Right.
It's a waste of your time. It will destroy you.
Right. Same thing goes for
business
deals.
Yes.
Yeah. When they're promising you the world, you're like, yeah.
You turn away.
I heard about that offer before.
And you learn that discipline by understanding how to identify who the temptress is.
Right. Right.
You know,
That's good.
Number
That's good.
15, have a plan for your wife, one that comes with resources.
Have a plan for your wife.
Yeah, there is, a lot of times when we talk in business, I've been reading a lot of business books lately. And I was reading one business book, I can't remember, it was from Harvard. And the man spent his whole time in the book talking about husbands and wives. And he said most from Harvard. It was fantastic.
Okay.
And he said most men spend all their time around the business itself, and they never pour themselves into their wives. And they never think about what their wives can produce and create for them. So then they're very unhappy with what their business is, right? And so he's like, part of what men need to do is allow their wives to flourish through creating that, he didn't say it like this, but creating that kind of woman that takes his money, his funds, and goes and builds other things with it, builds his home out with it.
Kind of like Proverbs 31.
That's exactly what he was getting at. I mean, it's amazing. He was getting at that. He's like, because most guys get in the business, they make a lot of money, and their lives are horrible, and they don't know why, right? And it's because they didn't invest. Part of their being, who they are, is who they're committed themselves with and to, like this one flesh. So they got one of themselves as kind of being successful, but none of that matters because the other side isn't flourishing either.
Right.
And they don't give their mind to their wives, which means in one sense they're denying part of themselves.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, a man is to love his wife as his own body.
And then he finishes the whole book by saying, once you do that, you start understanding how humans need to be managed and given opportunities to be successful. Right? Because
you start with your wife.
And so he says, man, spend time with, like, what does your wife love to do? What is she good at? Does she have resources to accomplish that kind of good? And then and take joy in it. Yeah. He's like, and as you see her flourish, you start realizing that this is almost exactly the same thing over here. And, well, this is why I don't have happy people, right? I haven't given them resources to do the jobs that they need. I haven't given them the opportunity to make their own decisions about things and let them rule.
That's so good. I mean, and that just goes back to the Genesis.
Exactly right.
And God's like, here, you're going to rule the world. What you first need is a woman.
Yes.
It's right there.
And we don't take advantage of that, you know? And it's like, okay, so I'm thinking about dominion in so many ways. It's like, okay, how can I give my wife some tools to take dominion?
Right.
You know, how do I give her resources to do this? Which means you have to accumulate capital to be able to say, all right, baby, here you go. I got this reserved just for you. Go take and make something great of this.
Yeah, make something amazing with this.
And
that's
bless
really
our
good.
family.
Yeah, that's really good. And just like, that's what good, I've thought of this before, but good leaders make room for others to be what they were made to be. That's your
That's
job.
what he was getting at.
What good leaders do is you are getting the things out of the way. That's you taking responsibility and sacrificing. You're getting things out of the way for those that you're responsible for so that they can flourish.
Yes.
That's really good. Starting with your wife.
Starting with your wife. 16, find where your tribe is weak, wherever your group of people that you've committed to, and pick fights that will encourage them to engage.
Wow. So you wish you would have done this 20 years ago.
Yes.
Find where your tribe is weak. Pick fights that will encourage
First, I
them.
wish I would have found a tribe 20 years ago.
Okay.
Right? I found my tribe 10 years ago.
So that goes back to find your place, find your people.
Yes.
Commit.
And so when you find your group of guys, the guys that you hang with, and it's like, okay, what are our weak points at? What do we need to be encouraged at? I'm going to go pick a fight over here. And I saw this in COVID. When COVID happened, one of the things that I remember us doing was really picking a fight with, no, you can't do this. This is our work. This is our time. This is our people. We own this. We get to operate.
Yeah.
And when we started doing that, everybody wasn't on board at first. But we picked a fight. And what started to happen over time was it accumulated courage to get other people to say, you're right. And all of a sudden you started seeing you got to remember when COVID happened, there was no one really pushing back. Yeah. Everybody was in agreement in one way or another. And then it took so long for them. But when people picked the fights, the tribe came around them and said, you're right. We get it. And they started engaging. But that's not just with COVID, be with anything.
Right.
Like there's fights in your community that you need to pick. And you got to be wise in how you pick them.
Yeah.
But you have to be the tip of the spear and engage those fights. And then eventually that kind of courage will have other people say, you're right, brother. I don't know what I was thinking. I had so many people come back who were hating us when we were talking about COVID and then came back and said, man, you were right, brother. Oh, wow. And then just outpaced in so many different ways. Huh. And so it was really encouraging. You don't always have everybody with you, but when you want to encourage your tribe, you take out the big bully, right? Like that's one of the things you do. You find when David came and saw his tribe, who was dealing with the Goliath,
the giant,
all he had to do was topple him. He didn't have to beat the whole crew. Toppling the giant, everybody came around and engaged afterwards. Yeah. And so sometimes, and this is why you want to be self-sufficient so you can have the resources to do this, because sometimes your tribe isn't always with you in the process.
It's true.
And so if you can charge forth and you create the space for them, you'll bulldoze everything out and they'll come in and fill it. So that's what's behind number 16.
Got it.
Number 17, know history, know the future.
Okay.
That's kind of what we were doing earlier.
You're going to be a prophet now.
That's right. This is your prophetic stage.
Yeah, right.
Right? If you understand enough about history, I was just talking about this. One of the things that I have planned for my kids to do this summer is to know the 20 years before they got here. That's their summer plan. You're going to write a paper on what happened 20 years before you were born. Oh. Because when I think about it, when I was born, 1981, I didn't know about all that happened in the 60s. I didn't know about stagflation. I didn't know what the world was going through before I got here. I didn't know about the assassination of JFK and Martin Luther King, and had no concept of that. Yeah. But when I began to learn history, I got a better grasp on the conversation that had been going before I had ever arrived. So now I have a trajectory of where it might be going now that I'm here. Yeah. And so now, then you build it out. 20 years here. Okay, now 20 years before the 20 years, 40 years.
It also gives you just perspective.
Yes.
On the present and the future, where it's like, oh yeah, well this has happened before, or this has never happened before. Yeah.
Okay,
this is a little bit unprecedented. This happened before, and then this is what happened next. There's a decent chance that will happen again.
Yeah.
That's one of the repeated refrains of the Bible.
Yes.
Remember what God has
1
done.
Corinthians 10 again.
Remember what God has done. Remember what God has done. And it's always in forgetting what God has done, forgetting the past, that God's people panic.
And lose identity.
God's people panic. God's people grasp for some new identity, something to make them feel secure and safe, rather than remembering the rich history that we have.
Part of what happened with the woke culture was we were primed for the takeover. We did not know where we had come from. We didn't know our history. And so they could manipulate the history in order to make us say, well, this is your identity. And so now that we've given you this new identity, this is how you must act.
Right.
Having an understanding of history doesn't let you get fooled by that.
Right.
And then it also helps you make better decisions, like investing $5,000 in tech companies. Number 18, do stuff without a committee. Oh, we already did that one. Number 19, because we did that one yesterday.
Yeah.
No more scripture. Engage your mind to know the mind of God.
Yeah.
You want to take that
More
one?
scripture. You want me to just take that one?
Go ahead. I got plenty to say, but you're a pastor. I know you're going to go off on that one.
Engage your mind to know the mind of God. Yeah, no, I think you just we are this is said often, but I don't think we act on it enough, which is simply, we have so much access to scripture and we say that we believe it is the word of God and we don't act like it. You have access to God speaking to you from heaven by his Holy Spirit in the word. And it's and God promises, those who meditate on his word day and night, those who are drinking constantly from the word, eating and drinking from the word, they are full, they are blessed, they are wise, they are happy people. And we say that, we all, it's like, Bible's good.
Yeah, right.
Bible's good.
Right.
And it's like, but really, are we acting like it? Like you have something, you have a treasure more valuable than gold. You have a resource more valuable than silver. You have a resource more valuable than $5,000 invested in the best tech company.
Come on now.
Are you investing in that every day? Every day. Every day. Are you going and you say, well, no, I haven't. Well, then do it today.
Yeah.
Then do it tomorrow. Do it the next day. But it really, it absolutely makes a difference in a church and in a community. People who are Bible readers, who just are you just read Genesis to Revelation, start over again. Genesis to Revelation, start over again. Sure, you can do deep dives in different books. You can do deep dives in the Psalms, whatever, but like just Bible readers, people who are just constantly reading their Bibles, that makes a huge difference. Christians who are in the Word are far more healthy, far more happy, far more fruitful in every way.
100% of the mistakes you made are from not obeying God.
100%.
Right. Like that's just bottom line.
Yeah.
And a lot of them come because of your ignorance of not knowing God's word.
That's right.
And I think
and just forgetting.
And forgetting. Yeah.
You knew it and then you forgot.
You forgot, exactly.
And now you've been watching these shows, or you've been, scrolling social media, or and what's on your mind?
Right.
What's on your mind? Like, we are the kind of people who need to be reminded. God knew that we were the kind of people who needed a book.
Yeah.
He's like, here, access right here. I'll speak to you every day, because we're the kind of people that forget. And we're the people that get distracted. We're the kind of people that get worried or freaked out or angry or whatever. It's like, get back to the word. Get back to the word.
I'm really spending a lot of time knowing God's law and then paying attention to Proverbs right now. And Proverbs is the outworking of God's law. So if you know God's law and you have okay, this is the grammar, right? This is the grammar stage. Yeah. And then the poetic and the rhetorical stage is in the application of that. And I find that in Proverbs a lot. You got that in James, but the proverbial wisdom of the books, Psalms as well. Yeah. But so then how do you apply God's law in life? And so I was telling my daughter today, everything that you go through in business or in work or in life, you should have proverbial wisdom at the tip of your tongue to be able to address the situation. Right? Like, God has given us his word so we know how to act when we see the situation. That's what Solomon did. Right? He's like, okay, I know God's word. I know God's, how do I deal with the situation? Oh, right here. Yeah. Right? And so you got to have that. Number 20. Create Christian political think tanks.
Oh, okay.
So one of the failures.
Should have done that 20 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. Man, yeah, we need to do it right now. But I think we are doing it right now. But one of the failures that we have with political theology is that we don't know how it transfers over into a civil society. And when you have Christian men who've been thinking through these things and who are knowledgeable about these things, and you put them together, now you get a chance to draft policy.
Yeah.
How does this work out practically in our society? We have nothing for our politicians, excuse me, Christian politicians, to grab onto that have political think tanks that's used it and applied it to, okay, here's how the policy works. This is something for you to grab and then apply it currently in our situation. Right. And if we did that 20 years ago, what we would have had during COVID would have been fantastic. Like, where's the think tank at? Like, if you do that now, but you can't create a think tank without wealth. You have to buy those guys' time to be able to do that.
It seems like a very a moderate version of this is. I mean, a number of years ago, the people started the Federalist Society.
Yep.
And there were a bunch of judges that got, attorneys that got trained in there. And I'm not saying it's perfect. And I think there's, obviously, but, there's some weaknesses.
Sure.
But one of Trump's promises was I'll appoint Supreme Court justices that are approved by the federal, society.
Yeah, exactly. He has something to draw from.
And, I mean, that's something. Now, the fact that it wasn't better,
right?
That's on us.
Yes.
Somebody started something. And what we ought to have is hundreds and hundreds of political think tanks.
Absolutely.
And judicial think tanks and so on. That's why I'm so excited about the Hale Institute at New St. Andrews
I was just
College.
thinking about,
Jeff Schaefer has started, it's a little school program at New St. Andrews in legal theory, conservative legal theory, common law legal theory. But we need hundreds of those where scholars and politicians and theologians are working together.
Poets,
hammering out like this is the law of God, this is the law in the books, this is the cultural moment, this is what we have, this is the problem. Like now, how do we work at this? How do we at least move this ball down the field?
Yes,
and create and craft better legislation, better policy than we've had in the past.
21, aspire to the qualifications of an elder.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't even know if I need to say much about
Titus
that. 1,
1 Timothy 3, every man should aspire to the office. You may not be qualified, you may not be called, but every man should be thinking to himself, I want to be the kind of man who that's required. You're required to imitate godly men.
Yeah.
Imitate your elders. Well, that means you're imitating their qualifications as elders. That's Hebrews 13.
Yes.
These are good men. These are godly men. You should aspire to that. Don't be lazy.
And
don't despair.
Where do those qualifications start at? In the home.
In your house.
Right? Like it's amazing. Like if we want to have a great society, if all men were aspiring to be elders, how they would treat their wives, how they would raise their children, how they would educate them, would produce a radically, so you're thinking about the $5,000 of investment 20 years ago.
That's right.
Just think of every man 20 years ago who just got married, and had aspired to the qualifications of an elder. Yeah. What kind of return? That's greater than the return than NVIDIA would give you for $3 million. That's what you were talking about earlier. Yeah. It's like, why does this matter? Well, because look what you've done. Like you got families, you got people's souls who've been saved because of your preaching, right? You are an elder. Yeah. So but the impact that you've had on other people's life is incalculable. You know what I mean? Like you can't calculate that. You think about the weddings that you've done, and then the kids that have gotten married from that. That's just
all the people I baptized.
Oh man, praise God for that, right?
Yeah.
And so that has a massive impact. One of the things that to me why this matters is because I think we're at a time right now, because of what I'm seeing, at least with tech, and I think our society is in a place like, could you imagine the world before electricity? And then electricity comes in and it just transforms the whole world.
Running water,
people working for, 3 shifts now. We can do 3 shifts because we have lights that can be on the evening, cars and trolleys that can drive because we have electricity and power. And it's like, we're at another stage where we're making a huge technological jump that's going to transform a large portion of our society. And we're right at the beginning of it. And I think we need to take thought about where we are. And that a lot of it means looking back, but it's like, okay, so then 20 years, God, where can we be? Yeah. And what kind of place can we be in that has a massive impact on the rest of the world? Yeah. And if we're not thinking like that, we're not taking the talents that God has given us and say, how do we turn profit on it?
That's right.
Because we're going to have to answer to God for that.
That's right. And it's what a gift. That's the thing I just want to underline. It's like, what a gift. Every heartbeat, every breath, every day, like God is giving you all, we talk about you need capital.
Yes.
You're loaded.
That's so good.
Yes. Do you want more? Sure.
Yes.
But you're loaded. You have life.
Yes.
You have health. Look at your hands. Look at your mouth, your eyes, your ears. You got 2 legs that still work.
Yes.
You're loaded with capital. You're loaded with resources. Start turning a profit. Start investing all of it. Whatever you have. You say, well, all I've got is $5. Invest $5.
Yes, right.
All I've got is this, beater of a car. Use that beater of a car. The next 20 years, those who invest what God has given them with gratitude and joy. Look what God has given me. God is so good.
That's so good, Pastor.
You're gonna get a return on that that is incalculable.
You just made me think the line of, you are the man creation has been waiting for.
Yeah.
When God made Adam, creation was waiting for him to find the treasures that God had hidden in them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and you have, like, God has given you the knowledge and the wisdom. Okay, what do I do with this? Lord, I did this with it. Go back, do something else. Lord, I did this with it.
Right.
And you're right. You're loaded.
Yeah. Creation, as you're saying, that's really cool. Like Romans 8 says, creation groans in eager expectation for the redemption of the sons of men. And I think I sort of think that's only talking about the very end. And obviously, like in an ultimate sense, I mean, it groans to be completely set free. But God is redeeming the sons of men now.
Yes.
Are you redeemed?
Right.
And creation groans in eager expectation for every new son of man, son of Adam, daughter of Eve, to be born again, to get busy, to take dominion, to be fruitful, multiply.
We didn't read any ads, did we?
No, should I read one?
Go ahead.
All right. Most real estate transactions happen at pivotal moments in life, both happy and sad, like a growing family or the loss of a loved one. At Story Real Estate, buying and selling homes isn't just closing deals. The folks over there know that it's a big life moment. Now, if you love serving people through these types of moments, Story Real Estate is looking for great people to join their team. So go to storyrealestate.com, click menu, and then join our team to apply. I'm not going to read the whole next ad, but I'm just going to say, you know what? Make sure you sign up for the conference. School Wars.
Yes.
School Wars, rebuilding Christendom with our kids. Go to fightlaughfeast.com. Remember, if you're a club member, pub member, you get $50 off, like every person in your family, I'm pretty sure is what the deal is.
Yep.
October 16th through the 18th, Doug Wilson, Ben Merkel, George Grant, David Bonson, Larry Taunton, David Goodwin, David Erb on music. Anyways, hope to see you there in Nashville, Tennessee at Rocket Town. Go to fightlaughfeast.com, Fight Laugh Feast 2025. Look forward to hanging with you then.
Imagine what your kids could be in 20 years.
Seriously.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's crazy. If you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. And if you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Crosspolitic.